Every week, I seem to find something new that I want to learn. Instead of trying to figure out what is worth my time, I've decided to just start building. Hi, I'm Ishita, a student at IIT Delhi, and this is my challenge: 50 projects in 50 weeks. Every week, I'll pick up a new tool or framework or field and build something real with it. And I'll share everything I learned along the way. This is week one. For this week, I wanted to build an AI text detector, an actual machine learning model that I trained myself and not just another wrapper that calls someone else's API. Machine learning models start with data, so that's where I started too. I needed a data set with a lot of text, both AI and human generated. I had two options. The first was to build my own. I could collect human written articles from Wikipedia or Reddit, ask different LLMs to rewrite them, and then assign labels. But that would take weeks just for the data alone. The second option then was to use an existing dataset, and I ended up using two in this project. The first is called RAID. It's one of the largest public datasets for AI generated text detection, created specifically to benchmark AI detectors. What made it interesting was that it contains generations from a lot of different LLMs across different writing domains. That meant if my detector eventually worked, it would hopefully learn broader patterns shared across AI writing. At least that was the idea. Ironically, choosing RAID also created one of the biggest problems I ran into later. But we'll get to that. The dataset lived on Hugging Face. Rather than downloading the entire thing onto my laptop, I used streaming to read it one example at a time directly from the server. I pulled about 5,000 examples and started working with them. The first thing I had to do was create labels. Since RAID wasn't categorized into just AI and human, it had the specific model names as labels instead. Before jumping into training a neural network, I wanted to build some intuition. I couldn't really notice obvious differences between AI and human text myself, so I wrote a small script to look for patterns automatically. What I found was that AI generated text tended to use slightly longer words, had longer sentences, and actually repeated vocabulary more often than human writing. I wanted to see how accurate a model would be if I used only these numbers, something really simple. So I trained a random forest classifier. Unlike a language model, a random forest doesn't read English. All it gets are numbers. Based on just these, it tries to separate human writing from AI. The accuracy I got on this was surprisingly 93%. Honestly, I wasn't expecting it to be that high, but when I opened the classification report, I noticed that the model had correctly identified almost every AI generated paragraph, but when it came to human writing, it had only caught around 60%. The issue here was in the dataset itself, because almost 90% of my examples were AI generated and only about 10% were written by humans. This is a classic machine learning problem called class imbalance. Instead of learning the difference between AI and human writing, the model had simply learned that predicting AI most of the time would produce a good score. The next step then was to teach a model to actually learn these patterns and not just use statistics. That's where BERT came in. BERT is a language model developed by Google, trained on billions of words and designed to understand meaning based on context. I took BERT and I fine tuned it on my data. But BERT has roughly 110 million parameters, and updating every single one on my laptop wasn't practical because it would be very slow and take a lot of memory. So instead, I used something called LoRa, or low rank adaptation. The idea is instead of changing BERT itself, you freeze almost the entire model and insert tiny trainable layers into a few important parts of the network. During training, those tiny layers learn the new task while the original model stays untouched. Every training step follows the same loop. Each paragraph gets tokenized, BERT produces a prediction, and then that prediction gets compared to the correct label. The difference, the loss, gets used to adjust the trainable parameters. Then the process repeats across several epochs. On paper, everything looked good, around 97% accuracy. So naturally, I wanted to see whether it actually worked. and I opened the terminal to start testing it myself. But I ran into the same issue again. Almost everything I typed came back as AI generated, despite the low training loss. The model had figured out that predicting AI was more rewarding, and so it had gone all in on that. This is probably the most important thing I learned in this week's project. A neural network doesn't optimize for what you meant for it to, but instead it optimizes for exactly what you told it to. The fix in this was very simple in theory. Assign a much larger penalty whenever the model misclassifies human writing, so predicting AI for everything produces a much higher loss. Even after I fixed this imbalance though, this detector still struggled whenever I gave it writing that looked nothing like the training data. It was accurate in academic abstracts, but when I gave it casual paragraphs that I took up from Reddit, the confidence dropped dramatically, and almost every example that it had seen had come from like the domain of academia, so that's what it had learned. To solve this, I needed more data. So I moved everything to Google Colab and trained on a free NVIDIA T4 GPU instead. I downloaded another AI detection dataset from Kaggle and I adapted my entire training pipeline to work with that. Once training finished, I downloaded the final model back onto my Mac. Then I wrote a standalone interference script. Instead of relying on Hugging Face's high level pipeline API, I wanted to understand exactly what the model was producing. When a classifier makes a prediction, it doesn't immediately output a binary answer. It first produces two raw numbers called logits. To convert those into probabilities, you apply softmax. So instead of just printing predictions, I printed the actual confidence values, which made debugging much easier. I then tested on some obviously human and some obviously AI text, and I got pretty validating results in this model. At this point, I felt that I had created something that was genuinely very good. But I still wanted one final answer. How good was this detector really on completely unseen data? So instead of manually testing examples one at a time, I built an evaluation pipeline that was inspired by the original RAID benchmark. That meant I could directly compare my detector against other existing detectors like Grammarly and Quillbot on the same data. I streamed fresh examples from RAID, grouped them by domain, and then ran predictions across thousands of samples. I then calculated metrics like true positive rate and false positive rate. After this, I used matplotlib and plotted an ROC curve, which is a way of visualizing the trade-off between catching AI-generated text and accidentally flagging human writing. In the graph, the white dashed line represents random guessing, and the blue curve shows what my model detected. The further the curve stays above the diagonal, the better. My final model achieved an ROC area under the curve of 0.75 on completely unseen data, which obviously isn't perfect, but it proved that the model had learned genuine patterns rather than just memorizing the training data. And honestly, this was the biggest takeaway from the entire project. I started the week by thinking that machine learning was mostly about choosing the right model, but by the end, I realized that it was really about understanding your data, questioning your metrics, and debugging every assumption you make along the way. That's one project down. I have 49 more to go. If you have any idea for something I should build next, leave it in the comments. I'll see you next week.